Welcome to this series about capacity and capability building to craft and shape operations, enabling adoption and adaption. As we go through this journey, we take a more in-depth look at selected aspects with a focus on business issues around technological transformation. With these being more in-depth on heavier materials, please feel free to review the takeout points if in a rush, but also take your time to go through, pause, and get the real benefits. We hope the skills and expertise shared is of value to you and those you support in this changing world. Please subscribe, add your comments, and share with others. This week, we look at artificial intelligence within educational institutions, though the conversation is applicable to other industries and both business and technology views. The challenge of integrating artificial intelligence into operations, the teaching of artificial intelligence in its aspects and nuances, as well as research and advisory on artificial intelligence, is required of educational institutions. This applies to the public and private sector, as well as trades, industry, and academic institutions from kindergarten to universities. A risk-based approach is part of the transformation around artificial intelligence, including the emerging areas such as real-time decision-making or personality assistance. Artificial intelligence is seen to impact more than the technology, with influences in the management, operations and services, and business aspects. Thank you for staying. Let's start with public funded and pay-per-use higher education, though many of the points raised apply to other education providers. The educational institution is driven by cost, markets, regulatory, customers, vested interests, and incumbency. Government priorities are of impact through funding. Vested interest, like members of advisory boards pursuing agendas, are also at play. The educational institution needs to change its own operations around artificial intelligence, as well as its teaching, its research, and its advisory offerings. This makes the transformation cost for the educational institution more than the technology. It is the cost in business change, from revised sales to students, to teaching offerings, to copyright approvals in course materials. The cost is the replacement of an incumbent with the associated inertia of and need to sustain pragmatic delivery. Operations within educational institutions are on a risk-based approach. The teaching is lower risk, with comparatively assured revenues from government, though pay-per-use is more variable. Offerings around artificial intelligence across the curriculum, from technology to government policy and societal impacts, are required. The advisory is on demand, funded by industry, and or advisory to government, funded in different ways. Research is comparatively higher risk, with variable funding and the unknown in what research will yield returns. Again, the research into artificial intelligence is very diverse, and will use artificial intelligence in a variety of ways through analysis and information gathering. The teaching covers the technology, the service, the operations, the professional skills needed around artificial intelligence, as well as the business impacts. Artificial intelligence is part of social degrees, considering societal impacts, or within business administration degrees on service changes or operation models or liquidity management or risk management or the teaching of specific technologies. Similarly, for professions like accounting or engineering, artificial intelligence is also used in the teaching, from plagiarism detection to roles in reporting and providing feedback for assignments. For some students, the use of personality tools within automated teaching can occur. Professionals within educational institutions play a role advising government and industry on a range of artificial intelligence related areas, including policy, frameworks, and governance. Research around artificial intelligence is extensive, covering the development of artificial intelligence, the adoption and adaptation of business and society around artificial intelligence, the forecasting and analysis of data and trends around the design, development, implementation, operation, assurance, and consumption of artificial intelligence products and services. Emerging areas for the use of artificial intelligence, such as decision making, leadership, cloud-based knowledge worker services, or social ones like personality assistance tools, are all opportunities for educational institutions in teaching, advisory, research, and in their own operations. Faced with the challenge of the technology, the societal impacts, the business considerations, the operations and services, as well as the learning impacts of artificial intelligence, educational institutions gain the competitive advantage by leading the design, development, implementation, operation, assurance, and consumption of artificial intelligence products and services. Many of the considerations discussed previously apply to other educational sectors. Industry and trades. This will mainly be the teaching for the skilling and training to use artificial intelligence tools within trades, including how to manage problems and exceptions occurring in operations, as well as processes, practices, and procedures. Such educational institutions will be faced with changing their own operations around artificial intelligence as well as their offerings. Secondary education. While still emerging within secondary education, this will mainly be the teaching for the skilling and training to use artificial intelligence tools. Artificial intelligence is set to play a role within teaching around monitoring and reporting of students and progress, as well as used within assessments. Other responsibilities are likely to include the customization of artificial intelligence for varying needs, as well as ethics, values, and behaviors around artificial intelligence. Such educational institutions will be faced with changing their own operations around artificial intelligence as well as their offerings. Primary education. Similar to secondary education, but with a different focus and levels, using an induction emphasis within teaching, skilling, and training. Artificial intelligence will be used within assessments, reporting, monitoring. Such educational institutions will be faced with changing their own operations around artificial intelligence as well as their offerings. As artificial intelligence becomes increasingly used, the certification of those skilled in the technology and the accreditation of their trainers and their organizations will emerge. Since artificial intelligence will be having material impacts on people, the professional standards, the regulatory, as well as the insurance indemnities and liabilities impact with related legal aspects. For the technology itself, artificial intelligence will be used in the accreditation and certification of the trainers and the training organizations, as well as within the training process. Part of the technology will be vendor certifications. The demand for vendor certifications for artificial intelligence, whether direct or through accredited partners, is emerging and evolving into an industry staple. Vendor certifications tend to be technically focused while covering the respective operations and services. With more knowledge worker services using artificial intelligence and the provision of commoditized and automated knowledge worker services from the cloud, vendors are set to extend their offerings in response to the emerging market demand. The accreditation of vendor certifications around artificial intelligence is an emerging area for government, educational institutions, and vendors, as well as professional organizations. Educational institutions are also being expected to provide certifications in artificial intelligence, whether diplomas, degrees, or micro-credentials, across the design, development, implementation, operation, assurance, and consumption of artificial intelligence products and services. This covers the spectrum from technology to the policy implications, to the history of artificial intelligence, to the business management, to the societal and social impact studies. Consider the teaching of accounting. Artificial intelligence is a tool used within the teaching of accounting, is a tool to be used in accounting, and accounting would need to teach the management of outcomes from artificial intelligence. The accreditation of the teaching of artificial intelligence, the accreditation of artificial intelligence within accounting, as well as within the educational institution, with alignment to government and regulatory, is an emerging area of opportunity. The last aspect to cover quickly is some of the emerging areas of artificial intelligence within the educational sector and its wider societal impacts. Beyond the automation of knowledge worker services and the commoditization of the offerings are three emerging areas for consideration and prioritization: real-time decision-making, business management impacts, and personality assistance. First, real-time decision-making. The use of artificial intelligence for real-time decision-making, from the routine approvals to management of exceptions, real-time assurance of operations, the decision-making capacities and capabilities of artificial intelligence are increasing with application to more areas of business operations. There are the research, the advisory, and the teaching needs from educational institutions in this. Next, business management impacts. This is a large and extensive topic in itself, beyond the scope of this video. Suffice to say, the need for testing and benchmark testing for assurance of operations, the revised business models with related product and services, and making the transformation, the role of artificial intelligence in regulatory and compliance with real-time monitoring. The impacts of all of these on business are significant and will require research, advisory, and teaching from educational institutions. Finally, personality assistance. Managing people and the relationships between people is one of the most complex aspects of business operations. As artificial intelligence is used further, managing the human-machine interactions as well as biasing in the use of artificial intelligence sees the emergence of personality assistance. While personality assistance is emerging, the ethical, social, and regulatory alongside the technical and operational provides opportunities in research, advisory, and teaching for educational institutions. Please see the links in the comments below for supporting videos and information. We have covered a lot of ground, and who knows whether these areas come to fruition, but it is the illustrative which is the takeout. Thank you for your time. May the skills and expertise shared be of value to you and those you support in this changing world. Please subscribe, add your comments, and share with others.